Hello everyone, welcome to Neso Academy. In the previous lecture, we understood VHDL fundamentals. Today is the third lecture of VHDL programming course, and the name of the lecture is History of VHDL. In this lecture, we will understand how and why this language was developed. So let's start today's only topic, History of VHDL. So let's start the lecture without any further delay. Now, the history of VHDL begins in the early 1980s. At that time, United States Department of Defense (DoD) started a new program known as VHSIC program. Now we all know VHSIC stands for Very High Speed Integrated Circuit. Now the main goal of this VHSIC program was to design a high speed and complex integrated circuit. However, there were major problems. Different companies were using different hardware description languages. For example, Company A was using HDL-A, Company B was using HDL-B, and Company C was using HDL-C to create their design. And because of this, designs could not be easily shared between the companies, which resulted in limited portability. Reusing designs was very difficult, caused poor reusability, and maintaining proper documentation became very complicated, which resulted in complex documentation. Now, to solve these issues, a new language was needed to overcome problems caused by using different HDLs. So, there was a clear need for a standard hardware description language that could be used by all organizations. And this requirement led to the development of VHDL. So, to develop this language, Department of Defense (DoD) awarded contracts to 3 companies in 1983. Those companies were IBM, Texas Instruments, and Intermetrics. These companies worked together to design and develop VHDL language. The first publicly available version, version 7.2, was released in 1985. After the initial release, it was clear that VHDL needed to be made a formal industry standard. For that, in the year 1986, VHDL was transferred to IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, for standardization. After improvements and contributions from industry experts, universities, and government organizations, VHDL officially standardized in 1987 after 1 year, and the version known as IEEE 1076-1987. After standardization, VHDL quickly gained importance in the year 1988 because Department of Defense made it mandatory that all ASIC suppliers must provide VHDL descriptions for their designs, and designs must be described at both levels, structural level and behavioral level. Even test benches must be written in VHDL. Now, this decision greatly increased the adoption of VHDL in the industries. Now, VHDL is not a fixed language. It is a continuously evolving standard. Later, in the year 1993, an updated version of the original standard was released, known as version IEEE 1076-1993, which improves tool support and language features. And this marked the foundation of modern VHDL. Over time, multiple important standards were introduced, but one major limitation of early VHDL was lack of standard logic types. To solve this issue, another important standard was introduced known as IEEE 1164. Now, this standard defines standard logic data types, which supports 9 logical values such as logic 0, logic 1, high impedance, unknown, uninitialized, and many other. Now, this became most widely used standard in VHDL. And throughout the course, we will use this standard IEEE 1164. Now, another important standard is IEEE 1076.3, also known as numeric standard, which supports signed and unsigned arithmetic types, arithmetic operations, and type conversions, mainly used for synthesis and hardware design. Another extension is IEEE 1076.4, also known as VITAL, majorly provides support for timing annotation and accurate simulation models. It is mainly used by ASIC and FPGA vendors. So, overall, VHDL evolved from a military project requirement to a standard language to most widely used industrial tool. So, I hope you understand the history of VHDL. Now, in this way, we have completed our only topic, history of VHDL, which means we are done with this lecture. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.